I'm going to show you how I got to this point. Number one, I had selected all my photos, and I decided to go with all the industrial looking ones. So the first thing I did was I figured out that I could have, I really liked this photo, that was the tall one. So I had other photos that were sort of similar to that, and I figured I could fit 3 of them across here. So I put the first one in, and and I set it to its size. So image size, width was 4.253 by 6. I just put the width in, and it made the height whatever it was, and I was okay with that height for this. So I brought that one in, and then I used those same proportions. It is the same proportions here, image size. For the other ones, if you want to see them bigger, just do Control plus for these 3, and I brought them in to the poster. Okay, so number one, how did I get them all equidistant like this? So this is a 1/4 of an inch around that. I didn't quite have a 1/4 of an inch space here, but I'm going to just show you something for a minute. So, you know, how do you do this? How do you make, let's say that I put this here, and number one, you can use the arrow keys to sort of toggle around, so to click back and forth. Don't try to set it there with a mouse. Use your arrow keys. But number two, there's these tools up here, are here for a reason. So say I'm going to select this, and I've got my auto select tool on here, so whatever layer that I'm clicking on, you can watch the layers over here. If I click here, it selects that one, but I'm going to do the shift select, because I want those 3 layers, because I'm working on them together. I want these to be equal distance apart, and I want them to be all the same up against this blue line here. So number one, if I want them all to be the same height, see these tools up here? You can sort of figure out what they mean. Number one, I'm going to click on this. Boom. So it makes them all equidistant up from the top. And then the next, they're still selected, so I'm going to choose this one, and this one lines them all up equally to each other. There you go. So now there's equal space in between them. That's what these tools are for. So not all of them do what you want. Like they're still all selected. If I hit this one, you know, they're still all there. They're just lined up next to each other. So if you make a mistake like that, or you like click something that you don't want to click, you can fix it by undoing it. So if you like, oops, I shouldn't have done that. Just step backwards. And that's all. So then, excuse me, for this one, I had a limited amount of space left. So I had a couple little pictures. Number one, I knew the size based on what I had on the ruler here. And I constrained those proportions first. Let me find it. Okay, so here it is. So I knew what size I wanted this to be, so I made that size first, but I wasn't sure about this, because if I just, is it this size? Okay, it is. So I had to figure out what this would be, so I did it based on what these sizes were. So I went into image size, and I knew that it couldn't be any more than 4.253 wide, because that's this space. I wanted this photo to be the same width as this photo, only no higher than it was. So I can't change that in image size, because if I did that, it would constrain the proportions, and it would get smaller in width and in height. So I had to do it with a crop. And my mouse is acting all weird again. And here's how I did that. So I go to my crop tool, and I made a custom crop, and I put those measurements in here. I knew that I wanted it to be 4.25. I'm sorry, I wanted it to be 3.7 inches tall. That's how tall it was, and the width is 4.25. And then you crop it, and then I just brought that over then and plopped it in there, and it's already there. I don't need to bring a second copy over. So then how do I do that for this one? Well, I want that one to be the same size as this one, because I want it to go in this spot text box. So to do that, my crop tool is still set to that. So whatever my custom crop tool was, it's still there. Now I want this to be, I want that circle, and I'm using my arrow keys to do this. I want this circle to be almost right on that rule of thirds line. So that's a decent crop. And let's bring that over. Oh, and I'm thinking, well, what happened? I just cropped it to the proper size, right? Well, let's go back and look. Here it is. Okay. So image size, and oh, wait a minute, it's 3.4. So I have to go back and look at the width of the other one. Well, the width is 4.253. Okay, so I'm going to go to this one. And the width, I have to make this 4.253, and it will automatically change the height to match because the proportions are constrained. And bring it in, and boom, there it is. So it fits in there really nice and neat. I can actually, let's do the same thing with this one. We're going to line them up, and there they are. And I have enough room left over for my text box, and I'm going in there.